This is the Roulette Master, and one of my subscribers, Chip, says he has created the ultimate 9th Street system. I know a lot of you love 9th Street systems, so this should be exciting. He says he's making $400 a day when he plays this system, and let's test it out and find out if he's right and place the bets. We're going to start with $5 bets. We're going to have a $5 bet on 000 to start, and then we're also going to have some corner bets with $5 on them, just like that. And then we're going to have some split bets with $5. So let's go ahead and place those just like that. And then we're also going to have some street bets. So let's place some $5 street bets here. And now we're going to have some dollar bets out there. We'll go ahead and place those now. And we'll start with some right here on the 1, 2, 3. And then now we're going to go around the corners with dollar bets just like that. And these are all split bets. So let's go ahead and place those. All right, here we go. This is the ultimate 9th Street system, and we're also going to have one last bet of $10 on the 000 1, 2, 3 on the basket. That's a 116 total bet. I know that seems like a lot, but you're going to get a lot of wins. And as well, even though we started out with a loss here on 36 red, you're going to get a lot of wins. And we're going to double up after that first loss, and we're going to go from 116 to 232. Let's see what we get here. We got to test this thing out and see what we can do with it. That's a 13 black. That's a $50 win. And let's rebet and spin. And Chip says sometimes it takes 2 wins to reset, sometimes 3, depending on which number you hit. And that's a 28 black. Okay, that's a $50 win. We're at minus 16. So it looks like we need a 3 on this one. Let's get it here, right here. And that's a win on 00. That's an $88 win. So now we're up 72 bucks. Let's drop back to 116 where we started. And here we go. But we'll go over the bankroll because it's a little higher than, it looks like I took one of the bets off too much here. So let me see. I think I took the $10 bet off the basket. There we go. Okay, let's go ahead and spin. And here we go. That's a 3 red. That's a win, but not a huge win. But we'll take any win we can get. We're up 80 bucks so far. And let's go ahead and spin. All right, here we go. The ultimate 9th Street system from Chip. We'll find out how good it is after this is tested. And we just had another loss there, so we're going to double up. Now we're at 232 total bet. Excuse me. That's some allergies today, and that's a 1 red. That's, again, a win, but not a huge win. And that's why he says sometimes it takes 3 wins to reset, depending on which number you hit. And let's hit a good one right here. That's a 29 black. That's a nice $50 win. We're up 30. We're just going to rebet and spin. And then once we get back near session profit, we will reset to 116. But that's a 33 black there. That is not the best. So this is why this is a $3,000 bankroll system, because now we're up to 464 total bet. So you need to be able to recover. So that's why it's a little higher than some of the systems we've had. And that's a 20 black. That's a $100 win. So we're at minus 102. We need to get at least 2 wins. Let's see where this win gets us, if we can get one right here. And that's a 25 red. Nice, $100 win. Looks like we need 3 wins on this one to get back near session profit. So let's get that. And then we'll restart back to 116. That's a 12 red. Okay, that's a $100 win. Now we're up 98 bucks. So we're going to go back to 116 where we started. And let's see if we can get more wins this time and not have to do so much recovery. All right, here we go. But it's good to know how to recover with any system. And here we go. Again, we're going back to 116. And there we go. All right, this is back where we started. And let's see if we can get some wins at base level. And of course, we get a loss right out of the gate. So we're going to go ahead and double up again. We're going to go from 116 to 232. That's why it's so important that you always get back to base level if you can. Because if you do start another losing streak, like we just started, oh my God, that's such bad luck. But we're going to have to double up again and spin. And it gives you a chance to, use your bankroll to your advantage. And that's an 11 black. Okay, that's a $100 win. We're going to need rebet and spin. And I'm sure we'll need 3 wins on this one since we had back-to-back losses, which doesn't happen a lot, but it does happen sometimes. That's an 18 red. It's a $136 win. So we'll need 3 wins. We've got 2. And then we can reset. Let's see what we get here. Okay, but we can't reset on a 2 because that's a small win. That's a $104 win. Actually, you know what? That's close enough, though. We're up 90. Let's go ahead and go back to 116. So he did say if you're close to session profit, reset. So let's reset, and let's just hope that we won't get so many losses this next time around. And remember, we're going back to 116. We're just peeling those bets back down to where we started. And let's spin again here and see what we get. And here we go. That's a 17 black. That should be a win. $25 win. We're up 115. Okay, so let's see here. All right, we'll just rebet and spin, see what we can get on this one. Here we go. That's a 28 black. That should be a win. We'll take it, and we're up 140. All right, we had a lot of losses. Now let's hope we can go on a win streak and get some back-to-back wins. With this many numbers covered, you should be able to go on a nice win streak eventually. That's a nice $44 win. Now we're up 184, and we should start seeing some more profits when we have the $3,000 bankroll. It's a little more than we usually use with most of the systems, and that's a 31 black. We just lost again, though, so we're going to have to double up to 232 from 116. Here we go. And we lost back-to-back again. That's the second time that's happened. So you have to be prepared for that, and that's why we have the bankroll that we have. And let's hope we don't have 3 losses in a row. Here we go. Okay, that's a 13 black. There's 1. And if you lose twice in a row, you're definitely going to need 3 wins, not 2. So let's go ahead and get win number 2 right here. Come on, hit 0. Oh, but we'll take a 14 red. All right, $100 win. We're up 36. Let's rebet and spin. See what we can get here. That's a 22. That should be a win. $136 win. We're up 172 now. We're going to go back to 116 where we started. So let's do that now. We got to peel these bets back down. And always, every chance you have to reset with any of these systems, reset when you can. Because it just gives you so much more of a chance to use your bankroll to your advantage. And deal with losses that are more than what is normally expected. You can see it's so important to reset because we just lost again at base level. Now we have to double up to 232 and spin. And hopefully we won't get a lot of high numbers with this session, but you never know. That's why we have the bankroll, and that's a 20 black. That's a $50 win. We're up 106. So let's just spin again here and see what we get. And here we go. That's a 24 black. It tried to hit 36 on us, but that was a good $50 win. We're up 156. It looks like we need 3 wins on this one because we're not near session profit yet. And that's a 25 red. Okay, that's a $50 win. 206 profit now. We can reset back to 116. So let's go ahead and do that. Here we go. And let's spin. All right. That is a 17 black. We should be able to go on a winning streak here eventually. And we're up 231. With this many numbers covered, eventually we should get, at least 5, 6, 7 wins in a row. But we have to be patient for that and use our bankroll to get us to that point. We're up 265. One thing I will tell you is, with any of these systems, once you do find that hot streak, cash out when it's over. And declare victory over the casino. And that is so important. So that's a $25 win. We're up 290. And I think maybe our hot streak is starting right now. Let's find out. And let's see if it continues. That's an 8 black. That's another win. So now we're up 315. And now you're seeing this hot streak. But you never know when the hot streak's going to come. You never know if it's going to be at the beginning or the end. That's why we have to have bankroll to get us to this point. Okay, $34 win. We're up 349. We'll just rebet and spin. And here we go. Excuse me. That's a 15 black. Okay, that's a $34 win. We're up 383. Still at base level. We've had to, we're finally getting our hot streak at base level here. And that's an 11 black. That should be good. Okay, $25 win. We're up $408. Hey, there's the $400 that Chip says he makes every day. But we're going to test longer to make sure that it continues to make money, and that's what we do. We're at 442. And let's go ahead and spend. But so far it did what he said. He could have cashed out with $400 profit. But we're going to play longer so that you can see what happens if we get some really bad spins. And we're going to double up after that loss on 35. And let's hope that we don't have back-to-back losses like the last time. And that's an 8 black. That should be good. $50 win. We're up 376. So we should be able to reset after 2 wins if we can get another win right here. Okay, that's a 30 red. Okay, we got that. So we're at 444. We can reset back to 116. So let's do that. I can't emphasize the importance of once you're up a good amount, though. Don't keep playing like we're doing. We're doing this for testing purposes. Once you're up this much, you cash out. Okay, so there's a loss. Let's double up back to 232 from 116. Here we go. Excuse me. Got some allergies today. And that is a 2 black. So a small win. We'll take it, though, 52 bucks. We'll rebet and spin and see if we can hit a better number here on this one. All right, here we go. That's a 12 red. That should be a good win. $50 win. We're at 430, and that's close enough to session profit. Let's get back to 116 where it's a little safer. And here we go. All right, remember to protect what you've won. And also remember, it helps me to wear the cash out shirts when I play so that I remember to cash out when I'm ahead. And you can get those at theroulettemaster.com. I just ordered some new ones for the Vegas trip this next week. And obviously it's going to be pretty hot. So instead of cotton, definitely ordered them in some lighter fabric for this week. And we're at $4.99. And we're still at base level. That's awesome. But they say cash out on the front, and then on the back says declare victory. It's just a little reminder for me when I'm playing to always cash out when I'm up a good amount. And let's go ahead and rebet and spin. And like I think I told you on the last one, it's so important because almost always when you lose a ton of money, it's when you go up first and then you go down, and then you feel like you have to get back to where you were. And then you know that's really the days that you lose the most money is when you go up first, and then you can't believe that you lost it and that you're down, so you press. So let's double up after that loss and spin. So once you're up a good amount, cash out. We're going to play longer on this channel because we're testing these systems a little longer so that you can see, you know, what's going to happen if you do play longer. And we lost there, so we're going to double up. And now we're using some of that $3,000 bankroll that hasn't been totally necessary yet, but it is necessary with this system. So that's a 176 win there. We're up 377, and let's go ahead and try to get 2 wins so we can reset. Here we go. That's a 14 red. Okay, that's a $100 win. We're at 477. We're going to drop back to 116 again. Again, always drop back when you can to your base level bet and protect your bankroll. So here we go, especially if it's a system where you're betting a lot like this. And here we go. Okay, so we're at $477. Let's go ahead and spin. Here we go. That's a 16 red. That's the win. $25 win. We're up 502. All right, let's rebet and spin. And here we go. And that's a loss on 34 red. So we're going to need to double up, go from 116 to 232 again. And let's get a win right here. All right, that's a 23 red. That should be a win. Okay, we're at 436. Let's rebet and spin. Try to get one more, and then we'll reset. Here we go. And that's a good one. That's a 0. Fantastic. Okay, so we're back up $524, and let's go ahead and close this one out right there. We're getting close to 15 minutes here, and that was a pretty good run. Let me know what you guys think of the Ultimate 9th Street roulette system. Also, let me know what you think of other 9th Street systems because there's some good ones out there, and that would be fantastic. And if you want to send a system in like Chip did, send it to roulettemaster.c@gmail.com. And if you haven't subscribed and you're enjoying the content, please remember to subscribe. And this is the Roulette Master. We have another incredible system that's trending on YouTube coming up. If you want to stick around, it's coming up right now, and let's get started. Thanks for sticking around. This system that's trending on YouTube right now has 130,000 views in a very short time. This is called Max 8 Has Never Lost, and I hope you enjoy it. Here we go. This is the Roulette Master, and I have an unbelievable new system to share with you today. One of my subscribers, Mr. Retro, says he has a system that has been tested with thousands and thousands of spins and has never lost, and that's exciting. I can't wait to see if he's right and test it out today. And today we're going to test it up against one of the best. We're going to test it up against 5 double streets and with some modifications. And let's jump right in with that one first and see which one of these systems makes the most money in 15 minutes. And let's go ahead and start with the 5 double streets first. We're going to put $10 on each double street. We're going to have 5 total. That's a $50 bet to start. You can see we have a 0 balance. Let's go ahead and spin. And we're off and running. Here we go. That's a 26 black, and that's a win. So fantastic. So we're up 10. We just rebet and spin again. And since we have 5 double streets and there's 6 numbers on each, that is 30 total numbers. And that's a 6 black. Another win. So now we're up $20. We'll just rebet and spin again. Once we have losses, I'll share with you what to do next with 5 double streets. And that's a 32 red. That's another win. You're going to get a lot of wins with 30 numbers. We're already up $30, and let's go ahead and spin. All right, see how many wins we'll get in a row before we have our first loss, and then I'll share with you what to do about it. And that's another win. So we're up 40. Let's rebet and spin. This is definitely one of the best ways to play high coverage systems, or it's best high coverage system that there is. There's a lot of good ones, but this one's really good. And we're up 50. Let's rebet and spin. And I'm really excited to get to the new one of the day from Mr. Retro. I can't believe he says it's never lost with thousands of spins. And we're going to find out if that's for real or not today. We're up 60. Let's go ahead and rebet and spin. And it does look really good. I can't wait to share it with you. And that is a 0, so that's our first loss. Okay, when we lose with 5 double streets, we're going to go ahead and double that bet from 50 to 100. And let's go ahead and spin. Here we go. Okay, that's a 29 black. That is 1 win, so we're going to count our wins. We're up 30. We're just going to rebet and spin again here and try to get win number 2. And we almost hit the double 0, but that's a 1 red. Either way, we lose. So we're going to have to double that bet again. And now we're going to go from $100 to $200. This is why it's so important to have the proper bankroll. This is a $2,000 bankroll system. However, you can play it with a lot less. Now we're counting these wins. That's 1 win. So we rebet and spin. And here we go. So you can also play this one with a $200 bankroll in dollar units. Or you could play with $5 units and $1,000 bankroll. So let's rebet and spin again. We need to get 3 wins before restarting. So let's see if we can get a 3rd win right here. That's a 27 red. That's our 3rd win. We're up $50. And once you get the 3, no matter what, you restart. So let's go ahead and put them back out there again. And then let's go ahead and spin. And let's build it back up. Here we go. That is a 23 red. And that's a win. So we're up 60. Let's just rebet and spin again. And sometimes you'll get the 3 wins depending on how many losses you've had. And you'll have a small setback, and that's perfectly okay. Because you're going to get so many wins with 30 numbers, you'll build it right back up. Because we're up 70 right now. Let's rebet and spin again. The most important thing is protecting that bankroll. So we don't want to go past trying to get 3 wins. That's a 24 black. Okay, that's a win. We're up 80. We'll rebet and spin. And here we go. All right. That's an 11 black. That's another win. So you see we're getting a lot of wins in a row. We're up 90. Let's just go ahead and rebet and spin again here. All right, here we go. That's a 13 black. Another win. If you like lots of wins, this is definitely one for you. We're up 100. Let's rebet and spin again here. And a lot of times you can cash out with systems that use over 30 numbers without even having a single loss. But we just had another one right there, so that's our second loss. So we're going to go ahead and double, and then we're going to try to get our 3 wins. No matter what, when we get our 3 wins, we reset. That's a 34 red. We lost again, so we're going to have to double again. Okay, now we're at $200, and the more losses you have, the more you might be set back once you restart. But let's see where we end up. That's a 21, and that's a win. So we're at -10. Let's go for win number 2 right here. We're at a $200 total bet, and that's an 8 black. Okay, we got another win there. We're up 30. So let's rebet and spin again and try to get our 3rd win. If we don't get it, we'll need to double again. That's why we have the $2,000 bankroll, or $1,000 bankroll for $5 units, or $200 bankroll for dollar units. Whatever fits your budget the best. We're up 70. We're going to reset. So let's put the bets back out again. We got our 3 wins. And again, the more losses you have, the more it might set you back a little when you restart. But most of the time, you're not going to get a lot of losses in close proximity. But when it does happen, you don't risk your bankroll. You just build it back up. And we're up 80. Let's rebet and spin, because you're going to get a lot of wins in a row with this when you get on a nice run. And the key is not losing the bankroll, so you can keep making profit. And we're up $90. And let's keep making money. Here we go. And again, $5 units, $1,000 dollar units, $200 bankroll. And then this one is $2,000 bankroll for $10 units, and we're up 100. Okay, let's see how many wins we can get in a row. Usually when I say that, that means the next one's going to be a loss. Let's find out. Nope, we won anyway. So maybe that's one way to reverse that is say that, and we're up $110. Let's rebet and spin again. And let me know if you guys have any trips coming up. And I'm going to Vegas on spring break. Let me know if you guys have any gambling trips coming up, or any trips in general. I'd love to hear where people are from and where they're going. We're up $120. And yeah, in the comments, let me know where you're from if you don't mind, and what casino you play at. I would love to hear from you. And not just for me, but the rest of the subscribers are very interested as well. So we're up $130. And I think it's just because it's always interesting to see where other people are from and where they play when you're talking to people in the chat. And that's a nice win there. We're up 140. Okay, let's rebet and spin. And here we go. Sometimes people are from all across the world, and that's pretty cool. Sometimes it's also cool because sometimes they're right down the street from you. You never know. And we're up $150. Let's go ahead and rebet and spin. But I can't wait to get back to Vegas. Again, I'm gonna be in Tulsa this week, and that's a 33 black at the Hard Rock, and also at the River Spirit. We're up $160. And let's go ahead and spin. And I'm going to start the week at the River Spirit, and then head on over to the Hard Rock for the PGA show. And that is a win. We're up $170. Let's go ahead and spin. All right, here we go. That's a 19 red. And we're up $180 now. Let's go ahead and rebet and spin again here. And here we go again. That's a 34 red. And that's a loss. So I think that's our 3rd loss. We're up $130. And now we're going to double and try to get our 3 wins. If we lose, we'll double and then try to get 3 wins again. Okay, that's a 10 black. There's 1 win. We're up 150. Let's rebet and spin again here and see what we get. Okay, that's a 28 black. That's another win, and we're up $170. And here we go again. That's a 25 red. Fantastic. We got our 3 wins. We're up $190. Now we go back to where we started at 10 on each, and that's a $50 total bet. All right, here we go. With 5 double streets. And that's a 7 red. Another win. We're currently up $200. And let's spin again here. And man, I can't wait for that next Vegas trip, though. I was just thinking about it today. And I'm going to probably eventually move to Summerlin or Las Vegas. we're up $210, but probably not for maybe 5 more years, but I'd like it to be sooner than that. That's a 13 black. People either love Vegas or they hate Vegas, and I just love it. So I'm up $220, and let's go ahead and spin. And but I wouldn't live in the middle of Vegas. If I move out there, I will move to Summerlin or somewhere around there. That's a loss. Okay, so we'll go ahead and double and try to get our 3 wins now. And I really like the Summerlin area, and you're not that far from mountains and skiing if you want to go up and cool off. And that's another loss. So now we have had a bunch of losses in close proximity. Let's see how that affects us once we get our 3 wins. So here we go. That's a 28 black. And that's a nice win. We're up $110. We need 2 more. All right, here we go. Again, you don't get a lot of losses close together normally, but sometimes you do. And we've had 3 losses out of about the last 6 spins. So now you're going to see how this affects us when we recover and see how much we have in the profit column. So that's a 26 black. That's 1 win. And I'm hoping that we won't get any more losses right away because, again, we've lost about 3 out of the last 6 spins, which is a lot for 30 numbers. And that's a 9 red. And then we need 1 more win here. And you're going to notice that it will set us back just a little bit because we had so many losses, but we'll still be in profit. And again, you can work your way right back up, but I think we lost again. No, I'm sorry. We got lucky. We got that one. Okay, we're up 150. We reset. So there is a little bit of a setback there. But once you get your 3 wins, no matter what, you restart. Even if it sets you back a little, and it definitely set us back some, but nothing crazy, maybe $100. So let's go ahead and spin and let's get it right back. The great thing about this is you're going to get a lot of wins in a row most of the time, and that's a win there. And we're up 160, but don't go for that 4th win in a row. It's not worth it, especially because if you get 3 in a row, you're definitely probably still in profit, and you can build it back up. You don't want to take any more risks at high bet amounts. We're up 170. Let's rebet and spin again here. And can't wait to get to that new system of the day from Mr. Retro. That's a 31, and that is a win. We're up 180. Let's get ourselves back over 200 profit again here. And that's exciting that Mr. Retro has been testing this with thousands of spins and never lost. And we just lost again here. So let's double and try to get our 3 wins. And then let's see where that leaves us once we get those. Okay, that is a 21 red. Okay, that's a win. We're up 150. Let's rebet and spin. And let's see what we get here. That's a 21 red. That's another win. We need 1 more. Okay, we're up 170. Let's get our next win right here. And you see a lot of the profit comes from those wins at base level when you're not in the middle of all these losses. But we got our 3 wins. So now we're up 190. So we'll go back to 50 and spin. Let's at least get ourselves back over 200 profit again here. And then we'll see how the last few minutes close this thing out. That's a 3, though. We just lost again. So we didn't really get very many wins there, did we? So let's double and try to get our 3 wins, and then we'll get back to making money. That's a 24 black. That's a win. That's win number 1. And you're going to count these and make sure you get 3. We're up $160, and let's see what we get here. That is a 15 black. There's win number 2. We're up $180. Let's get back to $200 profit right here with our 3rd win. And I think we did it. That's a 26 black. Fantastic. We're up $200. So we'll go back to 50. Now let's see if we can get some wins at base level. Last time I said that, we instantly lost. So let's get a win here, and that's a 33 black. We got it, and now we're up 210. All right, let's see if we can get on a little bit of a winning streak here. Just like when we had a bunch of losses in close proximity, when you use 30 numbers, a lot of times you can win a bunch in a row, and let's do that. So that's back-to-back 33s. We'll take those 2 wins and see what we get here. That's a 24 black. That's another win, and we're up 230. And it's nothing to see 10 or 15 wins in a row with 30 numbers. But at the same time, you can lose 3 or 4 out of 6 spins if things go completely haywire. That's why we have the bankroll. We're up 240. And let's go ahead and spin right here. And here we go. Again, $2,000 bankroll for $10 units, $1,000 bankroll for $5 units, and $200 bankroll for dollar units. So that's a loss. And we're going to go ahead and double, try to get our 3 wins. And let's see how we close this thing out. That's a 7 red. That should be a win. Okay, so we're up 210. Let's go ahead and get win number 2 right here. That's a number 2. So now all of a sudden we are currently up $230. Let's get win number 3. And here we go. And there it is, 17 black. So that's fantastic. And we just have time for one more spin. We're up $250. We're going back to 50. Let's do our last spin here, and we'll be at our 15-minute mark. And let's see how much we won. And that's a 24 black. So we finished with a win. And we made $260 profit with 5 double streets. And I hope you guys enjoyed that one. Let me know down in the comments what you think of that. And if you think you could make it better, let me know. As always, that's what it's all about. And now it is time for the incredible new roulette system of the day from Mr. Retro. And I can't wait to share this one with you because he says it has never lost. Let's see if he's right and jump right into it. Here we go. All right, the time is finally here for 8th Street Max, Mr. Retro's new system that he said has never lost. Let's find out why, and let's place the bets. And we're going to start with just a single street and for $1. And I can already tell why. Part of the reason why this has never lost is because the bets are starting small. We did lose the very first spin with a 0. So in this case, we're just going to now have 2 streets and $1 on each. Let's go ahead and spin, and you can move these around any way that you want. The key is how many streets you have the progression, and that is an 11. Okay, that's a $10 win. So we're up $9 already. We're going to go back to 1 street. You don't have to put it there. We can pick wherever we want to put it, and let's go ahead and spin. And here we go. So the bankroll is going to be key on this one. We'll go over that, but very small starting bet with dollar units here. And we're going to add another one in here. So now we have 2 streets with $1 on each. And this is 8th Street Max by Mr. Retro. And this has a very different progression than what you guys have seen before. I'll share that with you as we go through. But there's a lot more to it than just adding streets. Right now, that's what we're doing. But once we get to different levels, it's going to change. And then you need to know the progression in this as well. And let's go ahead and add one more here and then spin. So now we have 4 streets at $1 on each. And here we go. That's a 15 black. And we lost that one. So we're going to add one more in here. And once we get to 5, we're going to change those from $1 to $2. Let's go ahead and spin and see what we get here. That's a 9 red. Okay, we lost that, so we're going to add one more, and then they're going to all go to $3 now. Whoops. And you can see the slow progression. That's another reason why he probably hasn't lost with this one. But let's see for ourselves. That's a 20 black. Okay, we got a win there, and we're up 7. And if you get a win right there, then and you can see we're not in session profit. What we're going to do now is we're going to go back 1 in the progression. So let's go ahead now, and we're going to take 1 off of each of those. And now we have 12 out there. Okay, so we have 2 on each now instead of 3. Okay, and that's a $12 win. We're up $19. We're in session profit. We start over. So let's start out with a different one here. Let's start out with the 28, 29, 30. But what you really need to know is what happens when you get to 5, 6, 7, and 8 streets. And then what happens if you lose at those levels, because it's not going to do what we just did there in all circumstances. It's going to change depending on what level you're at. So let's add another one in and spin. And again, the first 4 are at $1 each. Once you get to 5, they're going to 2. And that's another loss. So let's add one more in here. And you can put these wherever you want. Let's go ahead and spin again with 3 of them. And again, Mr. Retro says this has never lost, and that's a 19 red. Okay, and that is a loss there. So we'll add one more in, and he means he hasn't lost for the session that he's playing. Obviously, you can lose a spin because you're not betting on that many until you get some streets actually on the board here. Okay, that's a 30 red. All right, that's a good one. So we're up 21. That's new session profit. We start over. Let's start out with the 31, 32, 33 this time and spin. All right, here we go. That's a 35 black. And we were close, but we didn't get that one. Let's add another street in. And again, the first 4 will be at $1. And then once we get to 5, it'll be $2 on each. And then once we get to 6, it's $3 on each. And then we'll cover 7 and 8 coming up here. And then what you do when you lose it at 8, and that's going to be really key. So make sure you stick around for that. Let's go ahead and spin again here. But again, one of the reasons he hasn't lost is because he starts with such a small bet. And then we'll go over the bankroll here shortly. So let's go ahead now and add the 4th one in. We don't make these 2 until you get to 5. And that's a 10 black. Okay, so let's go ahead and now we'll go ahead and add one more in, and then all these go from $1 to $2. Now, once you get to 5 streets, and you can put them wherever you want, and that's a 0, so we definitely lost that one. So now we go to 6, where we were the last time we went through, and again, we're going to 3 now. So here we go. Now we have an $18 total bet out there on 6 streets. And let's see what we get here. That's a 5 red. That's a loss, so we'll go to 7 streets now. And this one's going to go in at 5. And then the rest will go up to 5. So far the progression is 1, 2, 3, 5. And now you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 streets out there at $35 total bet. Here we go. Okay, that's a 35 black. And we lost. So now we're going to go to $8. And then the rest of them will come up to 8. Here we go. And let's go ahead and spin. And let's see what we get here. And a double 0. Ouch. Okay, so if you lose at 8 streets, all of these that have 8 on them are going to go to 10. So let's do that. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me fix that. They go up. He said they go up 10. Let me fix that. So they go up 10. So they were at 8. Those are going to go to 18. Let me get that right. Okay, there we go. Okay, so they're going to have 18 on each now. Okay, there we go. And now we have 144 total bet out there. Let's go ahead and spin. That's a 22 black. Okay, and that's a $72 win, but we're not in session profit. So he says when he gets a win, he goes backward in the progression, but keeps the 8 streets out there though. So we're going to take all of those ones we just added off. So let's do that. The 10 on each. And then that'll get us back to 8. And then there's 8, so that'd be a $64 bet. Okay, so let's go ahead and spin back where we were at before with 8 of them at 8 each. And that's a 12 red. Okay, and you can see we're still not in session profit. So what we can do now is keep the 8 out there. And remember, before we were at 8, we were at 5. So remember, we have 8 out there. That would be a $40 bet. Okay, so now if you look over here, we have, let me make sure they're all right. I'm sorry. Let me get that right again. There should be 5 each. Okay, there we go. Okay, let's go ahead and spin. So we have 8 streets at 5 each again. So we went from 8 each to 5 each. And that's a 9 red. Okay, that's a $20 win. We're up 8, but not in session profit. So now we go back. We keep the 8 out there. And then we go back to, now we go to 3 each. So that'd be 3 times 8 is 24. Okay, there we go. And let's spin. That's a 10 black. Okay, that's a win. We're up $44. And then once you get back to base level or in session profit, you restart. We're up $44. Let's start back up with 1 street again. So here we go, and let's spin. So now, but you need to know what's going to happen if you lose at that bet that we had earlier where we went up 10. I'll share that with you as we go through here. And we'll definitely get to that. And it's good that we got to go through a really tough patch there and get through it. So he says it seems like it's a little bit confusing, but once you get the hang of it, it's really easy. So basically, one easy way of thinking about this is you're going 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, kind of like Fibonacci, and then you go in reverse back down if you're not in session profit. So let's go up again here and spin. And again, Fibonacci, for those of you that don't know, is adding up the 2 previous bets for your next bet. So like 1 plus 2 equals 3, 2 plus 3 equals 5, and 3 plus 5 equals 8. And then, but then after the 8, he adds 10 in. So it wouldn't be at that point. But we got the win there. And you can see on that last one, we won, so we restart. So we're going to go back and pick 1 again and then spin. And definitely one of his keys, though, is starting low and having a high bankroll. Let's go over the bankroll now. And that is a loss. We're at 45. So so this is a $2,000 bankroll system, which is extremely high for dollar units. And I think that's the main reason he hasn't lost with this one. Anytime you have a really low starting bet and a high bankroll, you have a fantastic chance of continuing to win over and over again. The problem is when you play roulette is greed, and once you start winning, you want to win more and more and more. And then when you start increasing the size of your bets, that's when you start to lose. So the good thing is you can always play this with no matter how much money you have. You can always change. If you change the bankroll, you can change the starting bet, as with all systems. So once we get to 5, again, we go from 1 to 2. So let's go ahead and do that. But any roulette system, you just you make sure you multiply or divide the starting bet and the bankroll by the same number, and there you go. And we got a win. We're at 50. So let's go ahead and restart here. And obviously, we're not making as much money as some of these systems. If you wanted to make more with this, you could just increase the bet from 1 to 5, but then you would need a much bigger bankroll. But I think that's why his testing hasn't lost, is because he's playing smart and he is continuing to have chances to recover. Okay, we lost that one. Let's add the third one in. And you can add these wherever you want. Let's go ahead and spin again here. But again, once you get to 5, it goes to 2. And then once it goes to 6, it goes to 3. Once it goes to 7, it goes to 5. Once it goes to 8, it goes to 8. And then if you lose at 8, it goes up 10 units on each. And let's go ahead and add one more in here and spin. And if we don't get to that, I'll just tell you what happens next here in a second. We have about 3 minutes left. We lost that one. Let's add one more in here, and then we'll go from 1 to 2 and spin. And that's a 0, so we lost that one. So now let's go up this progression again. So now we had 2 on each of those, so we'll go to 3, and then they all go to 3. So let's do that. And anytime you win with one of these, you just work your way. you stay with the same number of streets out there, and then you just work your way back down on that same progression. And that's a nice win. So we're up 48, but we're not in session profit. So we got the win. So you know what that means. We're going to go well, let me put that back out there. We're going to go you can see we have 6 at 3 each, so we're going to go to 2 each. And then let's go ahead and spin. All right, here we go. And then if you're to lose, you just continue on in the progression. But we got the win. So now we're up $60, and then you would go from 2 back to 1 if you needed to. So let's do that. Well, actually, let's just restart. That's session profit. So let's just go back to 1 and spin. And now let's go over what happens if you lose after you go up 10 when you're going from 8 to 18. Okay, that's a loss there. Let's add one more in. So if you lose after you go from 8 units to 18 units, you continue to just go up 10 units each time that you lose, but then you have to work your way back down the same way, and then once you work your way all the way back down and get in profit, you restart. And again, this is 8th Street Max from Mr. Retro, and let's go ahead and add one more in here. And again, he says it seems a little confusing at first, but once you understand the sequence, it becomes very easy. And that's a 6 black. And that's a loss, so we will go to 5. And remember, when we go to 5, they go from 1 unit to 2 units. And again, you can bet more. Just make sure you just change your unit size and change the bankroll. We lost there, so we will go from 2 to 3, and they all go to 3. They're always all going together. And then let's go ahead and spin. And here we go. That's a 34 red. We lost. Let's go to the next one. Let's go through this progression again. And we see we were at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 times 3 is 18. So they go from 3 to 5. Then they all go to 5. So let's do that. Put too many there. Okay, so we have 7 at 5 each, and let's spin. That's a 25 red. Okay, we won, but we're not in session profit. So we go back. So there were 7 times 5 is 35. We go from 5 to 3. So that'd be 3 times 7 is 21. And then you have $3 on each of those 7. And let's go ahead and spin. And here we go. That's a 26 black. Okay, we got the win. So we're up 61. So now we would go from 3 to 2. So 2 times 7 is 14. So now there's 2 on each of those. And then if we get the win here, we would just restart over. If we lose at any of these points, you just continue forward with the progression. So for instance, there we lost. We would go to the next one. We had 2 on each, so we would go to 3. And then we make sure here. Just a second, let me clear that out. So then you'd have 3. Make sure we get that right so you can see. So then you'd go to 3, and then you continue if you lost. We just ran out of time. But if you continue to lose, we would just go up in the progression. So let's go over all this again. So again, the progression is 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, like Fibonacci, and then it goes to 18, and then 10 units up each time you lose. You work your way back down the same way. And hope that makes sense to you. And the more you do it, the better you're going to get at it. So let me know down in the comments what you think of this. He says it's never lost, and I can already tell you the reason why he hasn't lost. It's a very good system, but it also starts with very small unit sizes and has a large bankroll. So remember that. I think that's probably the biggest. And we lost at 14 on that last one, which took us down to 47. But remember that when you're playing, anytime you start with a really small bet and have a large bankroll, you have an unbelievably good chance of winning. And if you start with a really high bet and your bankroll is not large, you're probably going to lose. And that's probably the main thing to take from this. Other than I do like the strategy, and I love systems that go up to 7, 8, or 9 streets. So I really like the way that it works, and really once you get the hang of the Fibonacci sequence, the way it goes from 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, and then it does go up a little bit different from there, up to 18, and then add 10 each time, and then work your way back down. It's definitely one you could get the hang of pretty quickly. And at the beginning, that's why we always want to test these on a simulator, because you want to practice so that you don't have to think about all this stuff when you're in the casino. So that's why it's so important to practice anything you do in life, especially roulette. And I hope you enjoyed this one. Thank you, Mr. Retro, for sending this in. If you guys want to send a system in, send it to roulettemaster.c@gmail.com. That's roulettemaster.c@gmail.com. I pick a new one every single day of the week, 365 days of the year, in the search for the best roulette system possible each and every day. And if you're enjoying the content, please like, share, and subscribe. And let's keep growing this community of people that love roulette. I know I do. I hope you guys do as well. And this is the Roulette Master. And have a great day, everybody.